Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of KSP Resurgence. Today's going to be a rather significant episode because I'm sending another interplanetary crew. Destination, Aklarka, a Hycean planet with an incredibly thick atmosphere. The space plane I'm going to use for this mission I designed in a past live stream, so if you do want to see me design it, you can go watch it. But first, I'm going to return ASET back to the Kerbal Space Center. In case you don't know, ASET is a space plane I sent to Olia, which is kind of the half-moon, half-binary system twin of Sanctar, which is a homeworld with this planet pack. So, it actually has a laboratory, so I got so much science from this mission. It was somewhat short, though, because this laboratory churns through the science incredibly quickly. You know, I'm actually using some magnetoplasma dynamic engines for this, but I have an extra mod that lets them use hydrogen instead of lithium. The engines are from near future propulsion, but the add-on that lets them use different fuels, I got from Discord, I think. Now, with this space plane, I really like it. It's super stable, it flies really well, so I'm probably going to be repurposing it and using it a lot in the future. But then again, I might be able to get better fuel in Delta V if I just use a nuclear aerospike, which I do have unlocked. Especially if I make it use methane, which has better fuel density. Who knows, maybe I'll do some future designing. Now, I actually have a lot of Kerbals that are actually from the Kerbal game application forum, which is a little something I have that allows my fans to be able to interact with the series. Basically, you go in the description, there's a link to the forum where you can fill it out and actually be able to be a Kerbal on this series. So if you really like this series, I suggest you fill it out and I'll be able to add you as a Kerbal. Now, despite the somewhat turbulent re-entry there, I'm actually playing. It's actually went really well. I'm actually going to land on a. I'm returning to the Kerbal Space Center. This thing can fly indefinitely in the atmosphere, so that's somewhat handy. It's just a pretty long flight, so I might as well yap a lot as I actually get there. So these engines, they're from OBT Legacy. They're really good engines considering how efficient they are, and they're somewhat overpowered, but it's fine. I have technologies I can reproduce it and get similar performance, so it's not that bad. My only main gripe is that there's no waterfall configs. Now, I actually have been working on a waterfall plume for this engine, but I am a very, very inexperienced modder, so it looks kind of buns right now. I'm hoping to actually make a good-looking plume for at least this engine, and who knows, maybe I actually enjoy making waterfall plumes, maybe I'll do it for the entire OPT series, considering none of the engines are configured. Which is kind of a shame. They look so much better. By the way, like, almost all the parts in this spaceplane are made with OPT spaceplane parts. The main exception being the plasma engines and the air intakes. The air intakes are from KARE, which has a bunch of nuclear jet engines, and also the wings, they're procedural, except for the tail fins. I believe those are stock, and of course some other things inside. Like, I don't have a nuclear reactor to power those plasma engines. Instead, I have fuel cells from Stirling Systems that use an alkali metal such as beryllium. Well, it's not an alkali metal, but it's a somewhat reactive metal. That's why it gives me all the energy I need to run these engines. Nuclear power will get you more energy in the long run, but it's kind of slow and it's super heavy, so that's why these fuel cells are just better. You know, I really wish I didn't land this in the dark, but sometimes you just have to do what you can. I mean, I could have waited in orbit, but I was on kind of a trajectory where I couldn't really do that. I mean, I did have a lot of fuel to spare. I could have done something, a weird maneuver, but I just wanted to go home as soon as possible. You know, I'm actually starting to stall a little bit just because I'm going so slow. But thankfully, I just got to turn on the engines. We actually have a lot. I mean a lot of gimbal. Now, this is good. Now, what's worse is I didn't put air brakes on this, which I really should have. I'm also starting to kind of go a little bit off course. But thankfully, I'm able to touch down. Though it's a really bumpy landing. I end up falling and flying in the air and crashing down. Thankfully, nobody dies. It's just minor damage that can probably be repaired. but I do end up parking right by the spaceplane hangar, so it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up some technologies such as I'm gonna get some better aircraft parts, just because I want the X-33 parts, because I mean the X-33, the MK-33 mod actually adds some crew parts that can hold a ton of crew members, so that'd be really nice for carrying a lot of crew members to future colonies. Anyway, here we are at Fortitude, my second interplanetary vehicle. I'm gonna take it home. I don't have any more filler. I'm just gonna time warp and send it home, just because I really want to use it for the next mission, which is actually this episode. I'm starting it out. I actually did some things to put more content in one video. Like in a little bit, I'm actually gonna have a multi-vessel tracking thing where I have 2 launches and at the same time. So this could be pretty cool. Anyway, I'm actually got into an orbit now. It's time to get to a low circular orbit so we can actually rendezvous with this, with my Fate spaceplane, which is my somewhat aging, not really aging, it's using similar technologies I would use, except it doesn't use plasma engines. It just uses a closed cycle of those OPT spaceplane jet engines I use. I use the ones I used on ASET. But I want to retire Fate. It's just very aerodynamically unstable. It keeps flipping around. It doesn't really slow down that well. It keeps flipping about when I try to land it. It does look really cool though, but I'm afraid it's time to retire it. Besides, I can probably make a suitable replacement with an ASET derived vehicle. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to press record, and I didn't record the launch. Now, you have seen me launch this spaceplane before in previous episodes, most likely, and I mean, it does fly, it definitely gets to orbit with fuel to spare, but I forgot to press record. It's because I was having so many outtakes, I just decided to start recording again, but I forgot to press record to start the new recording, so now I guess the footage is lost to time. Anyway, other than that slight mishap, this recording actually went pretty well, and see, this is exactly why I want to retire Fate. It just can't fly straight when it's going back into the atmosphere. For some reason, it just wants to fly the other way, kill off all the speed and spin like a, I don't know, just spin around non-stop. Thankfully, these engines have lots of gimbals, so I can easily regain control, and then proceed to lose control again because I turned a little too crazy. Don't worry, I don't crash this. I always somehow regain control. I could have landed this at the KSP, considering these engines, like ASET's engines, can run indefinitely in the atmosphere. It's just that this is super unstable and I probably won't be able to do it. It does look super cool though. I mean, I think it's super unstable because I put some Mark II capsules on some Mark II crew cabins on top to hold more crew. And also I did land and tore all the engines and air intakes off. Oh well, that's some of a sad end for this plane. I actually really liked it. Now, here are the 2 launches I was talking about. First one's going to be a vacuum lander, because Aklarka, the planet I'm going to today, actually has 2 moons. They're both vacuum worlds, so I'm just reusing the same one I used for Daysar, which runs on a very exotic combination of diborane and liquid fluorine. Here you see chemical technologies and chemical exotics, which are 2 mods that I highly recommend for anyone. My main gripe is that they're not really compatible with a lot of other mods. I mean, sometimes chemical technology just looks at the engines, is like, oh yeah, this engine uses this fuel, and it works well. Other times it doesn't, especially with like stuff like fuel cells and other mods that still rely on oxidizer and liquid fuel, which are deprecated with this mod. On the right, you'll see a really janky vehicle. They're a massive fairing. That's going to be the space plane. Now, with the docking adapter, I kind of had to get a little creative here, just because the way it's constructed, I had to do kind of a pole design with the transfer, not really transfer, but like a rendezvous stage. And also on the left, the lander launch also doubles as a crew launch, just to hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Besides, this vehicle is more than capable. And to the right, you can see that my second stage exploded. Not to worry though, this orbital tug does have plenty of fuel on its own. And then I have to turn it around and start burning. I know, it's a really weird design, but it gets the job done. Now, you may look at this design and think about docking into a huge interplanetary vehicle and think, oh my gosh, that's Kraken bait for real. And it is Kraken bait. I did have some cracking issues later down the line, but that was because I was doing something weird, like if I used it to couple. I've used it to coupler on this before undocking the docking adapter from the interplanetary vehicle. It actually caused the entire spaceplane to start getting all noodle-like, and all the joints would start just flapping around. Every attachment point would just turn into melted butter. Just be the worst, especially using physics warp. Thankfully, I was actually able to figure this out, and that's why this episode's coming out as soon as it is. Anyway, Kraken attacks aside, these rendezvous went without a hitch, of course. Except for the one on the left, which I actually ended up flying right by the mothership, so I had to, it caused a bit of a delay. Anyway, there is really nothing more to talk about these missions. You're just kind of just making sure showing you the steps along this way to this pretty big undertaking. So I might as well talk about the future mission at hand. So this episode I will be landing on Aklarka and returning to orbit. And next episode I will be rendezvousing the crew with the mothership and then landing on Aklarka's 2 vacuum moons. Then the episode after that I'm probably going to start preparing my Season 1 or series finale. I mean, I'm either going to have this be Season 1 of KSP Resurgence, or I'm going to end the series and then start a new one with the same save file, just to change the name and just kind of shake things up. What do you think? Should I change the name of the series so Season 2 is going to be a different one, or should I just keep it KSP Resurgence Season 2? Let me know. Oh, and by the way, I'm really close to 100 subs right now, so if you could subscribe and like the video too while you're at it, that would mean a lot to me, so thank you. And thanks for watching this far as well. Anyway, once again, this season will be ending soon, after I land on every interplanetary destination. And then after that, I'm going to do some interstellar stuff. It's going to be really cool. Anyway, you haven't seen it, I cut that part out, but all the side tanks and engines of the docking adapter, I had to coupler so that they would go away. It's a lot of debris in orbit though. I'll probably have some, it's like a time where I just delete all the debris. I also want to make sure my vacuum lander isn't sucking up any precious fuel. I mean, the lander is overbuilt, but I just still want to make sure I have plenty of fuel, just to be able to complete this mission safely. Anyway, if I were to do a Magnifica 5 with this, in case you're wondering, Magnifica is that big pinkish gas giant you see on the map right now. It has 4 moons, one of them being has a thick atmosphere. It's kind of like Titan, to be honest, so I won't be using a vacuum lander on that one. But I think I'm going to try doing a 1 lander for all the vacuum worlds. Maybe you think I'm crazy, like, how are you going to land on every vacuum? And let me remind you, I'm actually going to be using ion engines, probably, and fuel cells, just to do a really super hyper efficient lander that can be able to do all these landings in one go. It's going to be really cool when I actually do that. But that'll probably be like in a couple of weeks. Considering it's Christmas break for me now, I'm going to have a lot more time to be able to make these videos. Who knows, maybe I'll upload 2 a week. Should I upload multiple videos in a week? I don't know, let me know in the comments down below. I'll probably have a poll on my Discord server, which, by the way, I have a Discord server. There's a link in the description in case you want to hop in. It's very empty at the moment, but hopefully that doesn't stay that way for long. Now, I don't want to do too crazy of a burn, so I did end up waiting a few days in orbit, like a couple of Kerbal months. Just looking to actually end up getting a pretty decent encounter. It will actually get me to Aklarka in like 100 days, which is not that bad actually, considering how far it is. Now, Gaia, on the other hand, which is the furthest planet in this solar system, that's really far away, and actually almost on the edge of my commune with the best stock antenna in the game. So that's pretty crazy, actually. I had a 1% connectivity, so at least I'll know that I'll actually have reception out here. In fact, I think the antenna on the vacuum lander will actually be able to reach Sanctar 2, so I'll be able to transmit stuff from the landing site of these vacuum worlds. But I didn't put an antenna on the space plane. Heck, I didn't even put RCS. I'm not even going to do a proper docking. I'm just going to rendezvous it, get the crew on EVA, and then just leave the space plane in orbit. I mean, Aklarka is one of the best looking planets in this pack just because the clouds look amazing. It also has some ice shelves on it. I mean, if you do want to see it, I mean, you could just fast forward it, or you could also go watch my live stream where I test this. But, we'll get to see Aklarka soon enough anyway. We're rapidly approaching. That blue speck in the distance is getting a lot bigger. And then it'll be a huge one. Aklarka, it's actually, I think it should be a lot bigger than Sanctar. But it only has 8.8 Gs, so I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's because it's just less dense, but the atmosphere is anything but dense. It's soupy. It's like 6 atmospheres of pressure. It's like really, really crazy. Not to mention, if you were to fly at like 70,000 kilometers, which is like where space starts, like at Kerbal, X72 for Sanctar, which is the home world in this planet pack, which is Celestial Harmony, if you're wondering. Now, if you're at 70,000 kilometers in Aklarka, you'll still be in like somewhat thick atmosphere. In fact, it may be just as thick as it is back at home. But the atmosphere is very, very high. It goes up to like 200,000 meters, which is ridiculous. But thankfully, that does allow air-breathing engines to actually shine. I do believe the air has oxygen in it, which is really nice. But even if it didn't have oxygen, the engine on the spaceplane would still be able to work. Now, I'm doing something similar to ASET with propulsion, because it's going to be using a hydrogen-powered magnetoplasma dynamic engines to actually be useful in the vacuum. Because the atmosphere engine, it does have a closed cycle mode, but it's incredibly inefficient compared to the plasma engines. You know, we did get a nice flyby of one of the moons in the system, so that's pretty nice. Makes for a nice screenshot. For screenshots, don't matter if your life is at risk, because despite my maneuver tool saying that I'll end up in a nice orbit by the end of this, I ended up on a collision course. Thankfully, I was able to quickly change that, considering I was still high up in space. But it's just kind of annoying. I mean, with low TWR, that's bound to happen, but it's just really annoying when you burn, like, your trajectory is completely different. I mean, the clouds are having a little seizure there, but they get a lot better when you get close up. See the blue, fluffy clouds of Aklarka. They actually have quite a few layers, which we'll be seeing very, very, very soon. We do have to I can't say that word. Circularize this orbit and actually end up in a nice, comfy, low orbit. Comfortable for landings and returns to orbit. I was actually planning to end the video there, but I did have time for a bit more, so I just did decide to do the landing and return to orbit. So, yeah, more content. Now, here's that thing I was talking about earlier, where if I didn't disconnect that docking adapter correctly, the Kraken would turn my entire spaceship into pasta. It'd be like, have no structural integrity, and if I dared to turn on physics warp, it'd just fall apart. Thankfully, none of that happened. I actually killed the Kraken here, so yippee! Anyway, time for the landing. And I'm not sure what the firefly effects look like with Aklarka, because With the latest version of Firefly, the configs for Celestial Harmony do not work with the latest version. Who knows, maybe an update came out and actually solved this issue. I'll have to check, because some of my future missions are going to be going to places with exotic atmospheres that are going to have all sorts of weird colors. And I want to provide you that experience. I am going to try to collect as much science as I can, but unfortunately, due to the nature of this space playing, I won't be able to collect much science while I'm flying. I'm going to save it for when I'm actually landing, just because I'm not going to get a Kerbal out on EVA to replenish all the science experiments, because, well, there is no land on this planet. It's all water, it's all ocean, other save a few ice shelves. Even if it did have land, this does not have landing gear. I was anticipating water-only landing. So, it's going to cut back a bit on our science gains, but, thankfully, there are 2 moons that are probably going to offset that loss quite a bit. Now, despite a minor glitch in the clouds for a minute, this landing looks stunning. Now, this landing also took a long time just because Aklarka is huge and like the atmosphere goes on for a long time. The ascent also took a while, considering I do have to go back up and accelerate and continue to fly. The ascent starts out really, really slow, but eventually you get to a point where you start going really, really fast. That's when the atmosphere kind of thins out and you, I don't know, like, TWR is actually really, really good from the start, but it gets a lot better when you're going faster. And, eventually get to a point where you're just going so fast that nothing can stop you. Anyway, here it is. Aklarka's ocean. With a layer of... It looks like fog from above, but there's actually quite a good distance before you actually hit the ocean. You know, Aklarka's similarity to Earth or any other Earth-like planet in KSP is, especially from the sky, is really uncanny. It looks just like it, except much bluer, like a much deeper color. Yeah, on Aklarka, it's a lot of storms, a lot of lightning. In fact, I probably should have had a seizure warning for this video. If you're photosensitive, just click off now. That's a seizure warning. Anyway, because of all the thunder and all the lightning, I decided to name the space plane the Thunderbird. It was originally just named the X6 just because I couldn't come up with a name. But, I feel like Thunderbird's a really good name. Now, it did just start tipping over, but that's just because of the waves, and we always just go back to upright position. Now, for some reason, when I go underwater, everything just goes red. It might be an artifact of the lighting. Now, I do have to get the obligatory EVA report and surface sample, but I don't let go of the latter lest one of my Kerbals gets stranded in the endless ocean. Now, there's nothing really more to do, so I'm just going to start ascending and return to orbit. But I do have to pick up an atmosphere analysis while I'm at it. Please ignore the clipping of the cargo bay doors into the air intake. Yeah, this is where it gets a lot of flashing lights. It gets really weird here, so once again, if you're photosensitive, please click off this video. Or just close your eyes. I don't really care that much what you do. It's your choice. Anyway, this is the second cloud layer, because the first one's that foggy one at the bottom. We got a second cloud layer. And then we got the third cloud layer, which is the thickest. It's like you're flying through, it's like a dark void, an empty abyss. It's like we've been consumed by the Kraken. And also, there's like the lightning every so often, so it's really bright sometimes, but only for a split second. And then it suddenly gets a little brighter, very, 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 very slowly. And eventually you penetrate the cloud layer and just blue sky. Beautiful, I must say, especially with the volumetric clouds. I have a version 5. I heard version 3 actually came out for free, which is actually really nice for everyone who's not willing to cough up $5. But you can still see all the lightning from all the way up here. Thankfully, lightning does not kill anything with volumetric clouds, so no casualties were reported. mean, this is a Thunderbird. You expect it to be able to be struck by a lightning and survive. I actually heard that most civilian airliners can survive a lightning strike and actually shrug it off, but I'm not sure if that's true. This is the part where we go super fast because we're in the thin parts of the atmosphere going super fast, so my TWR rapidly increases and we start seeing plasma. And of course the cloud glitch, always around that height. And then of course this other glitch where part of the clouds just disappears. Now at this point I'm actually a little worried because I did burn a lot of hydrogen, but I'm actually able to return to orbit with lots of fuel to spare, enough for a rendezvous. And this is a one-use space plane, so it should all work out in the end. And also, I did forget to close that Science Junior material bay. It really is crazy how much Aklarka looks like Earth, except for all the clouds being super blue, and the sky being too blue, and everything being super blue. Even the rings are blue. I don't have anything wrong with blue. In fact, it's my favorite color, but it's just a cool quirk that Aklarka has. And with that, we're practically in orbit. Well, aside from a little bit of extra burns I had to do just to make sure we don't fall back into the atmosphere. Now, that will be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Bye!